So, Zico Productions, and, well, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, yes, we're now returning back to DX Ball 2. Only, this time we're doing it with post-commentary. Yeah, you know that thing that I end up saying doesn't feel as genuine as a normal live video? Well, yeah, I seem to like doing these for some reason. Because after all, it keeps me from constantly humming music, and I don't seem to do that as much now anyways. Even though I really like Sidewinder's music anyways. But at least now I won't be talking about Pretty Cure non-stop, and, you know, obviously talking about Kiwa Hato, who has nothing on Kiwa Happy, who's a cuter girl, but I digress though. Let's get back to the topic at hand so it doesn't turn out as bad and off-topic and even badly edited as that video, since this is already edited by me beforehand. This therefore means I'm just adding on commentary as I watch the video, just like with the Trackmania Let's Play. Unfortunately, it's been a while since I actually recorded this video, not as many months as it's taken to actually get this video out, but yeah, I've forgotten what I actually did in this video. You know, this whole thing, like I didn't know that I ended up getting a next level thing. Also, was that a notification sound from Windows 10 within the video itself? None appeared on my screen. Yes, it was, unless Meteor Flare Classic somehow stops it, but it's not even full screen, so I don't think Focus Assist would be in effect. But anyways, back there to talk about the two things that happened. I didn't think that the next level thing would just jump out there, because I rarely see that thing. Keep in mind, this is being played in normal difficulty, not kid mode. And let me tell you, normal mode will kick your butt in DX Ball 2. It likes to shoot these little red skull power-ups down at you, while they're less of power-ups and more of instant death, like that. It may sometimes come down really fast, as it seems that the speed of the power-ups is entirely based on the velocity of the ball at the time that it hits the brick. So if it hits a brick when going downward, the power-up is going to come straight down to you really fast and usually aim straight at your paddle. So you will pretty cheaply lose a life if you're not careful. Anyways, to the second thing though, the fastball power-up I picked up, I don't know if I picked that one up on purpose or not, because I would never pick up that power-up when the ball was in as close quarters as it was. And obviously, why would I? Because good luck controlling that thing at its fastest speed when you're underneath an X and it's just above the paddle. So yeah, you see how it works? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Still though, I think that I must have either picked it up by accident or thought I was playing in kid mode, because in kid mode, your ball cannot speed up. So basically, those power-ups are basically just extra points. But if you pick them up in normal difficulty, you're going to get an uncontrollable ball. Okay, there I picked it up on purpose. I can confirm this one. Hopefully that part right there wasn't too bad. Blame my mind for faulty behaviors. I usually complain and think my videos are going to turn out horribly, but usually when I look back at them, they're not actually that bad. Anyways, though, I can't believe that ball split and I missed the second ball. But for one point, the ball is going way too fast right now and really fits the music. Seriously, that part of the song right there, let's listen to this. Okay, if I didn't screw up right when the cool part happens, but you know, this fast with and then the ball's flying all over the screen while the music's going really intense. Seriously, this song really fits whenever you get that fast ball power up. You're frantically trying to keep that thing from falling. And since it's my last life in this video, oh, you can bet that I was trying to keep that thing alive. That's why I'm taking it slow now, and coincidentally, it fits the music. The music's really slow now, and hopefully it fits the slow ball right now. But that ball will speed up before too long. The music perfectly fits DX Ball 2. I have to admit, this song really sums up DX Ball 2. It can be fast, but it also can be slow, but it's mostly fast, so the song is mostly fast. Sidewinder, I don't know if Sidewinder made these songs with DX Ball 2 in mind, or if, you know, Longbow Digital Arts just, you know, coincidentally picked up his songs or gained permission to use them or something. I don't think any of them are made just for the game, so it's just coincidental that that really fits the game. Of course, other songs that fit the game are Dust Raiders and Beat Wave. Because they're like the songs you would probably think of if you saw it in DX Ball 2. What a great game, even 20 years later. By the way, if you don't know, there's actually a 20th anniversary version of DX Ball 2 coming out on Steam, and it actually will have its own board set editor. Now, let's be honest, it probably won't be as good as DX Board and DX Image, because, you know, it probably won't have a DX Image counterpart. Which is a shame, they don't want you to have your own cool graphics, they only want you to use theirs, and then it gets old. Because yeah, the graphics here were made with DX Image, and that's also what I used for the older boards, but these bricks actually look nice. Look at how detailed they look. They look high in color, and they don't look like they were made with Microsoft Paint's 256 color mode, because they weren't. Yeah. I actually made these with Photoshop and dithered them, and then converted them to bitmaps. And surprisingly that worked. And yes, that's how this brick set looks so good. This video is really old, obviously, but I actually made my own backgrounds that are actually textures from Mary's Magical Adventure, like a crate texture and the checkerboard floor textures, and they actually don't look that bad in the background, especially dithered, surprisingly. Well, then again, the graphics, the checkerboard ones were already dithered, and the crate ones are pretty low color. Still kind of funny, I call them crate textures when they're rarely ever used on crates. They're mostly used on ceilings. Oh no, I got a game over. Yeah. You have to love nice editing. You also have to love how smooth that editing looked. It actually looked like it was rolling down on top of the previous screen, even though you normally in DX Ball 2 cannot go straight from the high scores or Ghost Hunters screen. Yeah, I still edit that for some reason. Even though this seriously should not remind me of Ghostbusters. That's what I should do next. Ghost Hunters, that's so outdated. Let's go even further back and Ghostbusters. I just don't think I can do another edit to that screen, unfortunately. The Ghost Hunters thing is unfortunately... You know, I've already edited the high scores thing to say Ghost Hunters, so trying to change it to say Ghostbusters from Ghost Hunters would only be further destroying it. Because remember, I'm just grabbing letters and I'm just sticking them all around the place. I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but yeah, it's literally a bitmap file. So this one, I believe I initially changed that into Ghost Hunters years before I found DX Image, which allowed me to change other graphics, like screwing up the paddle graphics. I don't screw them up anymore because I think they look better the way they are. And obviously the Amiga bowling ball I don't screw up because why would I mess that thing up? It's random something from the Commodore Amigas here, but it's cool. Of course now I know, I think it's because this is based on DX Ball, and DX Ball was based on an Amiga game. So they decided to put the bowling ball on it. Well, technically the original DX Ball did it too, so I guess they decided to make a more pre-rendered 3D, you know, a 90s pre-rendered CGI 3D sphere, and put that on the telescreen as a reference to the original while still looking high quality. It's amazing that a lot of things in the 90s that were supposed to look amazing really look kind of bad and dated nowadays, like pre-rendered 3D. But that 3D sphere doesn't really look that bad, I guess. Even the paddle, which I think looks pretty pre-rendered 3D, even the paddle looks fine. The explosions look good, even though they're just a pre-rendered series of frames. Those particle effects look awesome. But also, did you hear that stupid noise it was making way back there? It was going, Orcaplas! Orcaplas! Oh, wait, is it doing it now? Is it doing it now? I won't even be able to tell. But it's going Orcaplas! And basically that's the name of one of the wave soundfalls in the game. Oh yeah, and that is a sitar sample. Yeah, it's from the Roland Internals pack. Basically, I might bash Roland as much as I can, because I think that their samples sound pretty bad when they appear in games. Because, seriously, composers, do you have anything better to use, or shall I say anything better quality than the Roland samples? Because seriously, other things they use sound higher quality than Roland. Like, you know, it sounds like they're playing a MIDI on a game console that's clearly capable of more. Ah, another game over. Yeah, now the background's brighter now. I only darken it whenever the ball becomes faster, it becomes small. An effect! It says effect every time I run into one of those bricks, because that's another one of the wave sound files. It's named effect.waves, so just like Orcaplaz, I decided to say it really stupidly. Effect! There's also effect 2, which I think I kept. Yeah, I think I kept both of those sounds the same, even after this time, and it still says effect and effect 2. I don't know what it's saying whenever it loses the ball. I think nowadays it's like, how could you lose, ball, or something. Additionally, I've changed one of the sounds so that, I don't know which one I changed, but it now says, get ready to lose now! I'm ready to lose now! Basically because, you know, it plays for things like picking up the fastball power-up and getting the bricks dropping power-up, even though I don't really consider that one bad. Also, I love this banking part right here. I just love doing that, banking it through there. So it does say effect a bunch when you do it. And you can easily screw up if you aren't prepared for it at the end. That beam sound he keeps making, it makes me think of one of the Norks from the Artisan's home, the home world in the first Spyro game. It sounds like the sound they make when you know, like charge into them. They go beam, and then they disappear or something. It kind of reminds me of Spyro. Also, don't forget Spyro Reignited Trilogy is coming out. It's coming out this month, soon. Also, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate next month. But everyone loves spoiling the characters, as I've complained about in the past. They spoil every single fighter. It's like, can't they understand that some people just like to start up the game by themselves and look at the roster and be blown away? Don't just hear, oh, this other character, this one just from Sonic is in the game or something, you know? Like, I don't need to know that. I would have loved to put them against each other in my own battles. But you had to spoil he's in the game, Nintendo. Boy, Nintendo's to blame. They're the ones that are spoiling it, really. Effect! That has a bad effect on, you know, people on the internet. To spoil the game for them. I digress, though. So anyways, as I was saying originally, the DX Ball 2 20th Anniversary Edition is going to be coming out eventually. I think I probably would like to, like, ironically buy it, because not only would it be cool to have an official board set editor, even though there's always, you know, DX board for if it's too limited, especially if they have a stupid 4 board limit nonsense. I hope Longbow Digital Arts doesn't keep that, because that would really limit users' creativity if they couldn't make more than 4 boards in a board set. And oh yeah, and I know I said that it was removed from the internet in the first DX Ball 2 video, but look back at that video now, and you'll actually see that I believe I've actually included the instructions, or at least I've linked to the instructions as to how to change your version of the game to actually allow you to use more than 4 boards. Oh, and it wasn't changed to Ghost Hunters yet? It still says high scores, and I didn't set a high score? Did I enter Eureka whenever it initially starts up? Why would I type that in? Oh yeah, because it's in development. I didn't want to set a high score yet. Anyways, let's go back to an old one. This one. Look at how much worse the graphics look. Not the background, but the brick set. It looks so limited in color. It's so ugly. Because this is what Paint did. Photoshop does a way better job because it actually keeps the colors as is. Lots of ethnic sounding star samples. Oh yeah, and that's from Roland Internals. Forgot to say that even though I complained about Roland because they couldn't use better samples in their games and make them sound like cheap MIDIs playing, but I have to say, some Roland instrument samples actually make me almost want to own a Roland device. Like I have a Yamaha keyboard, the Yamaha PSR E413 if anyone's forgotten. I'm tempted to start that thing up again. In my mind, you've stopped me. It can really help me with getting out of this music block. Orcaplaz! Orcaplaz! I'm gonna point that out while it's playing. Anyways, though, but sometimes I feel the urge to almost want a Roland device. Like one of those higher end ones. Like the ones that have the samples I like. Like the Fantasia sample from the Sound Canvas 88. I like the Fantasia from that one. Also, some samples sound good, like in the Roland internals, which I can only assume is like the Sound Canvas 88. It has that good sounding Fantasia. It also has a good sounding music box. The music box in any version of Roland Sound Canvas I've ever heard sounds crappy. It's like bloop, 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 bloop. Like sounds kind of crappy. And some games unfortunately use it, like Tokimeki Memorial games. They use that sample for some reason. Composer, you couldn't have afforded a more expensive sound canvas, so you could have at least had the good sounding one. Now that I know there actually is a good sounding music box from Roland, I thought they were all going to be just as crappy, but no! Roland actually made a good sounding music box sample. It actually sounds more like, I guess more like what a music box would sound like. I don't think it still sounds quite like a music box, but it sounds closer than that cheap sounding thing. Oh yeah, and here's that part in one of those old videos where the ball got stuck in a loop so long that the game made all the bricks turn normal.
But really, it's kinda weird. Okay, now it's able to escape, but only because...
Yeah, I just want to point out this is that place. Very stylish little bank up there. But I still hope you understand what I'm saying about the Roland internals. Roland actually does have good samples. I admit it. Just most of them are crappy. But on the higher end samples, they sound good. Well, on the higher end devices, they sound good. I would like to probably consider having some sort of Roland device just so I could use those samples instead of having to hope that a Japanese composer sticks it in their game. I say Japanese because usually the Japanese composers are the ones that use Roland for some reason. They must be obsessed with Roland or something. But, you know, I don't have to wait on a Japanese composer to put a random Roland sample in their game so I can take it. Especially nowadays because everything is crappy pre-rendered nonsense. So, you know, we can't have good old sequence, so I can't rip the samples from like a DS game. As I know from Pokemon on the 3DS making everything pre-rendered instead of, you know, sequenced. I miss those days. I say that about a lot of things now that I'm an adult, but really, I miss sequenced audio. It not only was easy for me to just grab the source of the data instead of having to guess from ear and suck, due to my lack of musical theory, I could also get the samples they use. So if they use a Roland sample and I like it, I can get it. That one Fantasia sample, whatever that one sample from Paper Mario 64, the Paper Mario, the original, not Thousand Year Door, which is pre-rendered. Still, I guess though, that game has this sample, and I like that sample. It's another Roland sample because that game for some reason just has to spam Roland non-stop. It makes it sound like a cheap game instead of a quality one. But still, I digress once again. I'm just not a fan of those Roland samples they use there. Whoever made the music there. Music changes right as I say that. What is this? Are you sure this is music video? But still, yeah, if I had a Roland device, I wouldn't have to, you know, wait for a sample to appear in something I could rip. I could just use the samples freely, rip them from my own Roland device. Just capture them, play single notes like I saw in Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, where they just look like they just played one long note on their keyboard and then put it in the game without even looping it. That's what Roland Internals looks like it did as well. They're just really long notes when you open them up in Audacity. There's just this giant waveform, and you know, it usually is really long and loops a couple times. Clearly designed for developers to be able to use the samples. Unfortunately, it doesn't include all the splits, so to speak. So all of the Fantasia samples aren't there. The rest of the Music Box samples aren't there. But still, I digress on us, but I just hope you understand that I guess I should probably consider Roland, even though I regret being a hypocrite, but I feel like Roland does have some quality. Anyways, now that I've admitted that, sorry Roland. Oh, here's the fitting part again, look. The ball is just flying around the screen. I'm really frantically moving around in the music. This fits so well. Like, whoa, where's it gonna land? Grab the power up. Unfortunately, I didn't grab a slow power up this time in the right timing. What even is that? Orcaplast? Oh yeah, it says Orcaplast every time those things drop because it's the... Or I think it's actually Orcablast, but that's an Orcaplast! Like I added an extra syllable that's not even there. And right now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, break that brick before the lightning comes. I forgot to mention it, but I'm still afraid of that lightning. I mean, I know Rival Ball, a later game, it actually added in lightning as a power-up, which I think is kind of cool. And it's the same lightning that strikes in DX Ball 2, to my fears. But it's always kind of cool to see it in that game, because there's not this really dramatic build-up and then silence and then slow humming and then boom! You know, there it's just immediate. You know it's coming. Oh yeah, and right there you could tell. Okay, see right there? See how all of those power-ups were perfectly following the momentum of that one ball? The ball that broke the brick is the one that they followed. Basically, they follow the momentum of the ball whenever it breaks the brick. It's not random how the power-ups come out. They're using the momentum of the particular block, well, the particular ball to hit the brick, and then they drop with gravity. It's better than what I think Arkanoid does, where I think they don't even have, like, physics. The power-up just drops straight down to this, like, a very linear, consistent rate. That's not as cool as what DX Ball 2 does, where the power-ups do this, like, almost realistic dropping thing. Orcaplast! See, Orcaplast instead of Orcablast. Anyway, so getting back to the 20th anniversary edition of DX Ball 2, even though I hope that they don't have a stupid 4 board limit in their board set editor, and I know they probably won't have an image set editor, so those are two downsides that DX Board and DX Image do a better job at, because I'm able to create my own brick sets and even board sets with more than 4 boards and background graphics. I can create all of those, because really, Rumble Digital Arts should probably understand that those only increase the replayability of their game when they're not staring at the same graphics made by the same 3 or 4, artists. Whenever they stare at their own new graphics, it's kind of a new experience. It keeps the gameplay going. It keeps the interest in the game. Even 20 years later, I can still keep interest in this game because I can keep making board sets. If you limit that, then that really takes it away from the person, you know? At least from the player. But still, one of the reasons why I would probably taps, even though they're not called ghost hunters here. Oh well, though. Anyways, though. So then, all of those rants aside, though, I probably would still want to, get the 20th anniversary edition to actually buy the game. Because even though I'm after the board editor, even though really DX Board and DX Image have that covered for me, as I've stated many times before, that's really supposed to sound very stupid, but I would also just like to buy the game because I've only pirated this game. I played the shareware version on a 300 arcade games disc as a child, and that's when I actually got to know this game. Yes, it was, I wouldn't say over 20 years ago, because that would mean this game wouldn't even be out, but it was when I was a child, so I would say over 10 years ago at least. many houses ago, before the infamous events, before I even met Madison, I believe. I played DX Ball 2, and I liked it. I kept playing those same board sets over and over again. It was just fun to play this game. Especially when it gave you a lot of content. You know, 4 boards in each board set, but there were like 4 different board sets. So you had like 16 boards and 2 different difficulties and multiplayer. Basically, the game was pretty much full. It's just you only had the 4 boards and the demo versions of the boards. But that's the only version I've ever owned. I've never paid for the game. I've never bought this great game. I like it, but I've never bought it. That just seems kind of ridiculous to me. I'm not a full-on pirate. I like to pirate things when they're ridiculous prices, like Adobe's products and stuff. You know, I like to pirate things when I want to have an ISO. I like to pirate because I'm a pirate. But, however, though, I admit that there are some limits to pirating. And I think it'd be worth it to give them some money. For all the years of this game, I've enjoyed it. So therefore, that would be the first purchase of DX Ball 2 if I bought the 20th Anniversary Edition. Plus, I would be able to see what their board set editor looks like. So it would be a bonus. And plus, if I don't like it, I could always then just use DX Board and all that. So it's a win-win situation. I would actually be paying for the game instead of what I'm doing right here, where it's just a shareware version, but with the paid content. By that I mean, it has the paid extra modules, the extra music. And it also has the broken limits, like more than 4 boards. But it's not paid, it still has the demo versions of the board sets. So, you know, it's about time I actually purchased this game. So I'll have to consider it. Of course, there's other things I'd like to purchase. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch again, so I could actually have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And in addition, one other game has been getting my attention recently. I've been seeing user-made characters in a character editor in a game series called Soul Calibur. Yes, I've heard of Soul Calibur. I did not know it had a character editor. And it looks like people are really able to create some cool things with it. So I'm thinking, Soul Calibur. That seems like another potentially good game to pick up, even though it's probably a traditional fighting game. So there's probably complicated button inputs. You have to push weird directional buttons and then push a button. I'm not a fan of what most fighting games do. They expect you to memorize specific combos for specific characters, and they don't give you common ones. That's why I like the Super Smash Bros. Games. You know, B plus direction, A plus direction, direction plus hold down button, push A button while running, push Z, push L or R. You get the point. All of those will work on every single fighter. You don't have to memorize or master a specific character. You pretty much can pick up any of the characters in the game, which is great. It's like, that's genius, HAL and Nintendo. I guess in Namco Bandai, apparently? I recall them being in the credits once. But still, other fighting games just don't do it the same way. Anyways, the Lich King beat Xane. Oh no. Anyways, that's all for now. And DX Ball 2. See you next time.